Hey guys, so I just got back from the theater from seeing Wildcat, the new movie of in a long list of movies of I had never heard of this until about a few weeks ago. Um, and it did, but it's one of those that got my interest because of the cast list, the who was working on it, who was directing it. Um, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's a movie starring Maya Hawke. All right. It's directed by Ethan Hawke. Okay, that's interesting. I love Ethan Hawke. I'm a big fan of his as an actor. I think this is the first time he's ever directed anything. Okay, and it's a movie like it sounded like a movie that was trying to get some Oscar nods come next year, and I'm like, okay. I was like, it's got a pretty good cast. A movie about I guess a famous writer that I had never heard of. Uh, I guess she's got a cult following, but I'd never heard of her. I don't. But I guess she's a was a pretty critically acclaimed director. Sorry, writer. Um, and what the hell? Does anybody else hear that loud fucking bang? I got like loud bangs all the time. Honestly, it's a lot more gunshots. Yeah, that's not concerning at all. Um, so how was that? But yeah, this movie I got to watch the trailer and I'm like, yeah, it looks not bad. It doesn't look. It doesn't look. Like it doesn't look like anything that. It's exactly what I expected when I saw the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. We'll see how this goes. And yeah, it's okay. It's an okay movie. I don't love this movie. I don't hate this movie. I just thought it was okay. I see this movie's getting middle of the road reviews, and that's pretty much where I'd rate this movie too. It's nothing terrible. It's nothing great. It's just okay. There are sometimes movies that are like that, and that's fine. Um, there are things I did like about this movie. I thought Maya Hawke, and I think this is like her first big lead role. I know she's been in a lot of movies. But um, like her first big lead role. Although she handled her own. Um, I was worried like this is one of those cases like, well, it's it's a case of nepotism where Ethan Hawke casted his daughter as the lead role, and this might be miscast. Um, I thought she handled her own. It's like this is definitely not one of the worst cases of nepotism. Will Smith, and his kid, is a pretty goddamn great example. Um, at least she has some talent and she can act. Unlike Jaden Smith, who can't act worth a lick and sounds like Elmer fucking Fudd. Um, and and is a little bitch, and so is his dad. um, yeah, like I said, I liked her a lot in this movie. I thought she carried her own as this writer who's trying to write her first novel. When you meet her character, she's trying to write her first novel, and Flannery O'Connor that was the writer's name. Like I said, I'd never heard of her. Apparently, she has a cult following as far as her stories go, and she was famous for writing these weird ass short stories. And when the movie begins, she's trying to write her first novel, and she's also suffering from lupus. It sucks. um, and she's slowly feeling the effects of that. She moves back home with her mom, played by Laura Linney. This is very good in this movie too. Um, and this movie is like split into two parts. Like it's kind of like two halves of a movie. Where one half is a straight up biopic about the author, where you get to see what her trying to develop this novel while also suffering lupus. But also, this movie is the side. It also does. It takes her like some of her short stories, her most famous short stories, from what I could tell, some of them, and adapt them for the screen, for the movie screen, and have them be acted out with Maya Hawke and Laura Linney being in all of them, but also starring like this weird cast of characters, um, including like Steve Zahn. What? I was like, when he popped up, I was like, "Holy shit, is that Steve Zahn?" I was like, "What the fuck have I seen him in a movie in a while?" That was cool. And towards the end of the movie, when the other big shock was towards the end of the movie was when her mom calls a Catholic priest and it's Liam fucking Neeson. Like what? Like hold on. Man, I was like, how much has fucking mighty have fallen as far as Liam Neeson, man? His career is like gone fucking downhill fucking real fast over the last decade. I think we can pinpoint when that started, but like I said, I don't I don't agree with why he got he's kind of gotten like his career's gone downhill. Like over the last year or so, especially like couple years or so, his movies have kind of fallen in quality, and it's like it's weird just seeing him in a movie where he's uncredited. Like that's like the hell is going on, man? Like that bugs out. I love Liam Neeson as an actor, but it's kind of cool in that short. He's in one little short scene. That's it. It's like so fucking weird. Um, the biggest strength of this movie, also, like I said, was the short stories. This movie would adapt the short stories, I love the fuck out of this, when the movie would become like these short stories. But these short stories were weird, really weird, and really off the wall kind of stories that I kind of dug the hell out of. And apparently, from what I read up from if Wikipedia is right, they're pretty true to the original source material. And not didn't make too many changes. So I kind of appreciate the hell out of that. Like my favorite one was the what was the story called? Let me look it up. I actually have the list of what the hell was the one. My favorite personal favorite one was the last one that was adapted, which was Good Country People, which I am an asshole for thinking this was funny as hell. So, like, just to kind of give you the gist, if you don't know the story, I can give it like a very brief synopsis of it. So it's like about this woman played by Laura Linney and her daughter played by Maya Hawke. They're living on this farm, and Maya Hawke has a wooden leg, and her this guy, this Bible sales, this religious guy comes trying to sell them the Bible, a copy of the Bible, but Laura Lady turns him down, and so he's very persistent and starts to fall in love with Maya Hawke's character, and at one point towards the end of the story, end up in a bar, and they're about to get down to business, and and he asked her to take off her wooden leg, and so she's very hesitant, doesn't want to. And it's okay. He's like, okay, I'll take it off. So she takes it off. She's got her stump, and and, uh, and so just to make it short, long story short, he steals her. He steals her wooden leg and leaves. What? He's a guy who doesn't believe in God and goes around for some reason just stealing people with like prosthetics, people with disabilities prosthetics. What a dick! I was like, that's hilarious. It's stupid and fun. I was like, I want a whole movie about that dude. It's like, fuck is this dude? Like when that happened, I was like, the favorite part at the end of the movie, he's just running. You just see the girl. She's still in the barn. I don't know how that she ever gets out, but she goes and she's just watching him in from the barn, and he's running away with her wooden leg, and I'm fucking cracking up on the theater. That was funny as hell. I think, and then there's another one at the beginning of it where it's about Laura Lady and her daughter, who I don't know how their way to put this, but she is kind of. I want to say I'm not gonna say that word because that's just wrong. But she's mentally not right in the head. If you catch my drift, she's the R word, and she Steve Zahn is a guy, is a drifter who comes and starts living with them, and then stuff happens, and he teaches her how, Maya Hawk, how to say words like bird, bird. And then they get a license to get married, him and Maya Hawk. And then they go on a road trip for a honeymoon, and he leaves her at a diner, and he takes her to a diner and then leaves her. That's like, what the fuck is it? Like, this is such a weird. These stories are so fucking weird. There's ones that involve racism and like again, this is where I give the movie like a lot of props, but the problem is with this movie is that like we get those stories, but then the rest of the movie is a straight up biopic, and honestly, that's where the movie like what hurts the movie is that the biopic is not as fun or as interesting as the straight up biopic, or as fun as interesting as the stories. And I was thinking to myself, like, how could you have made this movie? And I'm thinking, like, I would have made it like an anthology movie. Like, if that would have been what this movie was, I actually would have done this movie a lot more, probably. But like when it becomes a biopic, it becomes boring. I was like trying to. I was